Hi, I'm Simon, and we're joined by Andrew Cole from TIC. And the question I've got is, people don't like being kind of put in little boxes. So with the bird personality and the profiles, can they change over time?
I mean, there's two parts to that, as I see. This is not about putting people in boxes. And in fact, it's a tool for understanding yourself and understanding others. And then we can adapt our communication in that space. I do have comments like that in workshops when people say, I don't like being put in boxes. And it's not about that. It's about you understanding some of your natural preferences and who you are as a person.
Yep.
And so from that perspective, it's there as a tool to assist, not to, big brother's watching sometimes, in that sort of space. Do people change with time? I'm not a psychologist, but, Des was, but I have these types of conversations, but I observe lots of people. I do lots of workshops in this space. I tend to answer it by saying often our rough edges soften as we get a little older. So my dove, as I was growing up, would probably say sorry too much. And I probably don't do that as much as I do now. An eagle, I hear these stories all the time where an eagle, and often they parent this way, they won't let their child win a game because they parent in the fact of thinking, how are they going to win in the real world if I allow them? And the dove tends to parent in a slightly different way that says, hey, he'll win one, I'll win one. He, me, whatever it might be from an inclusion perspective. However, some of those eagles that I've done this with as they're getting older say, hey, that's what I was like as a parent, but as a grandparent, I'm probably a little bit softer. So often maybe their bigger scores might get lower, if that makes sense. And I have had this, I don't know if you've had this, when any of your children are the same as you, but I had a group, it was an interesting group, where I had two women that were in the same group. One of them was 55 and one of them was 25. And they were that where this was the person who was the mini-me that her and her partner had created.
Right.
When they did the scores, they were both the same profile. The younger one had scores of something like 15 and 12 in the dominant and the second. And the mother had scores of about 10 or 11 and 8 as her higher scores. So those higher scores had come down, and she'd probably softened perhaps some of her harder edges. So I don't know if that answers the question, but there's some of my observations from doing this for quite a few years.
I think that makes perfect sense. We evolve a little bit and our edges soften over time. I think it makes absolute sense.
There you go. Hope that's helpful for people.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks very much.
No worries.